GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you look a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered.
And that's MVS and Justin Watson.
With some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that
Yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good is he? Let's go. GMGP. It's Freaky Friday. Happy Friday. It's Friday, baby. End of the week. College football tomorrow. NFL on Sunday. We had some stuff pop off last night, and we got y'all covered today. So shout out to everybody in the damn building. Who we got in right now, man? I see what's happening with you, Patrick, Leo, Scott, Anthony in the building, Lindsey Mack. What's up, Lindsey Mack? Taylor in the building. Ike, what's going on, big dog? Ike in the building. What's popping with you? Marcus, what's going down? Talking about the roast of old Shannon Sharp. We are not going to discuss the roast of Shannon Sharp. Yeah, that was a interesting show. What's happening with your Dynasty Empire? Jordan Baker, Rowe, seeing the whole squad in the building. What's popping with y'all? This is the Wake Up with Ray and Jay in the morning show. It is Friday. We are going to go through my top 12 quarterbacks, Jay's top 12 quarterbacks, our top 20 running backs on the week. Talk to y'all about the Thursday night game and what we could potentially look forward to this weekend in fantasy football. So got a lot of good stuff, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of news to cover, Jay, a lot of injuries. Lots and lots of injuries, Jay. How you doing this morning, baby?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It was an eventful night last night. Definitely an eventful week of news, to say the least, both in the football world and otherwise. But we do have football this weekend, so I'm, of course, very excited. We are all in on the Houston Texans, at least I am this week. So we will talk about that a little bit later. And you are going to drop the wide receivers and tight ends after the show to make sure that we stay on time and we don't run too late.
Yes.
So the people will be getting that later on. But
we are not going to be able to go through the full quarterbacks, running backs. I'll be putting out a wide receiver and tight end, my top 24 wide receivers and top 12 tight ends that'll drop later on this evening. And Shane says, let's make a deal. Our boy Shane Manila, shout out to Shane, dropped a video on the channel yesterday, so make sure you check that out. Is it up on the pod feed already too, Jay? Can people listen to it if they can't?
And he's got another one coming too. He's got another one coming too. He sent it to me yesterday. So looking forward to that.
Grinding out content. Shout out to Shane Manila. At Shane is the worst on X. Make sure you follow my dog. He is doing fantastic work. And if you missed the Dynasty Theory show, that is up on the channel as well. But y'all know what it is. The people who pay the bills get a dope deposit, man. Get in here. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash using the promo code ALLGAS on Underdog Fantasy. And if you do use that code, Jay, you will get a free pick, CeeDee Lamb. More than half a receiving yard this weekend.
Let's go.
Should be an easy cash. Get over there. We're going to talk through some of their lines today, some of the players we like, matchups they have. New customers, promo code ALLGAS on Underdog Fantasy. Get into action with us. Jay, let's get right into it. News, baby. What we got?
Well, I mean, there's nothing more concerning right now in the fantasy football world than the health of Tua Tagovailoa. Obviously, we never like to see him get injured, especially when it comes to the concussions. He suffered another concussion yesterday in the third quarter. The game felt like it was basically over, but they were still trying to come back. Tua tried to make a play, probably should have slid, especially with his injury history. But, we'll have to see what happens with him because, Ray, I mean, at this point, everyone's saying he needs to retire. And, it's tough to have to say that to someone, to have those tough conversations, but Tua suffered a plethora of concussions and head injuries. So in fantasy, I think you just got to wait and see. What is his decision? What happens? But I think it's hard at this point to even imagine him playing in the next month, in the next 2 months even. It's very scary what we've seen from Tua. I can't think of a player we've seen even close to the severity in terms of head injuries and concussions, especially visually. But at this point, he needs to make a decision. The Dolphins have to tread very lightly with him. Hopefully he's okay, and hopefully his life beyond football is not affected by any of this. But he does have another concussion, and we're going to have to see what the Dolphins choose to do. And I think that's kind of where we're at with Tua right now. Do you have any other thoughts on Tua Tagovailoa?
Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts, man. You're watching this game last night, and the Bills, we'll talk about the Buffalo Bills and how dominant of a performance it was from them offensively and defensively. But it's one of those things where we talked about Tua a lot a couple of years ago when he had suffered those concussions in 2022. We talked a lot about, do you invest in him? Do you want him in fantasy? And just sort of what will happen on a football field. And I think for a lot of people, Jay, it was at the back of our mind that, man, what would happen if he took another hit, if he got slammed to the ground, if he suffered another concussion? And you heard all the rumors and the reports that last year he considered retirement before the season. He had considered with his family, strongly considered that. And you're watching that game last night, and I see the reaction from a lot of people. Oh, you should have just slid. It just, to me, it's not as easy as that. In that moment, right, they were down multiple touchdowns. I think he was trying to move the sticks. It was 3rd and short. Yeah. He's running up the middle of the field, trying to pick up a first down. So to sit back and be like, oh, just slide, your team's they're getting their shit kicked in, and he's trying to make a play, right? Yes, hindsight, I'm sure if he can do it over and over and over again, he would have attempted a slide. But the flow of that play, I mean, he was going for it. He put his head down. And the scary part for me, Jay, is while the game of football is a violent, aggressive game, that was not a non-normal tackle. It was he didn't get body slammed to the ground. He didn't get whiplash with his head. Some people say it was a forearm. By all intents and purposes, it was a pretty standard tackle.
He just tried to stop his momentum, right? That's
physical tackle. But that's what's scary. And watching that, it was immediate, Jay. If you were not the replay, watching the flow of the game, it was readily apparent immediately that he was concussed. I'm not going to show pictures of the posturing. We don't got it, but it was very apparent right away. And the reaction from everybody,
his O-lineman right away, right?
Bills players, everybody. Yeah. It was like, oh shit, come out here, something is up. Yeah. And you read the reports that his whole family was in the locker room after the game, brother, mom, dad, wife, kid, everybody was down there. I tried to think of a player in sports, Jay, that had suffered like repeated injuries to where you were always just kind of worried. I can't think of one, man. Like I'm thinking every sport. I'm thinking NBA, MLB, college football. And I think for someone like Tua, I mean, he's had a lot of rough ones, man. The concussions in the NFL. If you tracked him through college in Alabama, that hip injury was bad. So I don't know. They say he's got foot in all the doctors, all the reports. There's no such thing as a bad concussion versus a mild. It's a concussion is a concussion. But when it's on a normal type of play, normal type of tackle, I'm just like, I would not want to see him catch a blind side from Micah Parsons or, a hit that it's scary, man. And, our job is to be able to we do a good job, Jay. And this is why I love you. I love this show. We do a good job. We can talk about fantasy football while being respectful for a player and a person. The person, you just pray that he's okay, right? It ain't that serious, man. He's got guaranteed money. You got he's a young dude. He's a young man. You got your whole life ahead of you. So hopefully health is number one priority. But from a fantasy football perspective, Jay, like how do you proceed forward in Dynasty? You will have a large sector of people who say, this is a buy opportunity. Buy the dip. Buy the window. You can get them for a second. You can get. And then other people would be like, I'm just good. And I think either side of that fence that you land on, I'm not going to fault you one way or another. We talked about it a long time ago where I was like, I'm out on Tua after 22. He comes back, leads the league in passing in 23. I'm looking like the one with egg on my face, right? Good for him. I don't want to be right about those type of things. We want him to play. From a fantasy perspective, though, Jay, he's a tough buy for me in Dynasty. I think for me, just that perspective, that's a tough buy. I'm not going to be out there buying Tua today. I hope he plays again. I hope everything is okay. I'm not a doctor. What we just saw was scary. It was scary to see that again. And fantasy football is kind of like the last thing that you're thinking about. But there are people who have them, and they want to know, what do you do, right? What do I do with Tua? And I don't know, man. It's probably just going to be a tough sell, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I think you brought up a good point about people who were out, prior to the 2023 season because of the concussions. We weren't sure, is he ever going to be the same Tua again, or what does that ceiling look like? And, you said it right. There is those people who were out. And I think the problem is now you're going to have even more people who hop to the other side of the fence and they say, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't know that my QB may suffer concussion, could be out a long time. Tua's been through so much in his career, and I think it's such a testament to him and what he's able to achieve to lead the league in passing, get that new contract. But now you look to the other side, you say, okay, Tua, you've done everything that you wanted to do for the most part in your career. You earned that big contract. You're set for life. Like, now I think is where you can say to him, maybe it is time to just take a step back, reevaluate things, think about your life beyond football, and proceed. But yeah, fantasy, I mean, it's tough. I think you got to just hold and see what happens. I wouldn't be buying personally. I don't think it's worth it. But if you have them, I think you just ride it out and see what happens. And maybe there is a potential sell window. You could sell them for a player. Maybe you want to sell them for like a Will Levis, a Bryce Young, whatever. Maybe you can make a deal like that happen. But outside of that, I feel like it'd be hard to sell them even for a second round pick. Someone's probably not taking that deal, at which point you're down to a third. I think you just got to hold Tua through the injury, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm with Francis. Francis in the chat said, I do not want him to play again for his safety, his family. The long-term behavioral consequences could be tragic. I saw somebody in the chat said he walked off the field on his own, so he'll be back by week 6. I walked out of the fucking stadium with a torn Achilles tendon. Walked out. Did I not? No ambulance, no wheelchair. Walking off of the field after a concussion is no indicator that you're going to play sooner rather than later. Like, come on, man. What are we talking about? I asked the question the last time he had one of these, how many games did he miss? And I believe it was 9. The last concussion he suffered in 22, I believe it was 9.
At that point, that's the year, right?
I think it was 9. Scary to see. Prayers up for Tua, his family. Very, very scary, Jay. Next little piece of news. Did you see? Let's change the tone and tenor a little bit. Did you see the panic?
Getting better?
Well, I don't know if it's getting better or worse, Jay, but there's apparently some serious concern and panic over the number 1 wide receiver in the 2024 NFL draft class. Did you see the effort concerns about Marvin Harrison Jr. and his max speed? There's been a lot of talk about his max speed, and you see right here, Jetpack Galileo on X posted the max speed of some of the rookies after week 1, and you see Marvin Harrison pretty low on that list, Jay. 16.7 miles per hour.
That's
max
very
speed,
low.
which is quite slow. That is the low speed of my electric golf cart here in the neighborhood that I drive my son to school on. Do you care about this or not, Jay? There are a lot of people, listen, there are a lot of people, Hayden and Josh, shout out to Underdog Fantasy. They did the stats versus film. They said the film was very concerning. The way his effort, wasn't running fast, didn't look certain of himself. Are you concerned about Marvin Harrison Jr.'s speed? There are some big fantasy analysts that were calling old Harrison a bust for dodging the combine. And the reason why he dodged the combine is because he was not athletic. Do you agree with these? Do you agree with these assertions, Jay, that Marv was not athletic and he dodged the combine and he only ran 16 miles an hour in week 1? Are you concerned about Marv, JRich?
I wouldn't say I'm overly concerned, but I mean, come on, bro. Can you hit 17 for me? Can you hit 18? Like, Ray, I understand that, the tape doesn't look good. And I don't want to call out his effort, but he certainly was running slow. And that is obviously indicated by the GPS tracking. And so you're saying to yourself, like, okay, Marv, if you're not running fast, like, what's the issue here? Are you that in your head that you can't even run full speed? Are you that unsure in the offense? Like, are you really just not getting the ball? Like, it's really weird. And then, we have the comments from Kyler saying, it's a bit out of context, but it's not my job to get Marvin Harrison the ball. And we came on here and we talked about this, and I brought this up. I'm like, why is he the only guy that can't get the ball as a rookie? He's the top rookie. He's the top guy, and they didn't really make an effort to get him the ball at all.
All right.
But I am a little concerned. Concerned.
Thank you for finally getting to
Run
that.
faster.
Here goes one, Jay. How concerned are you? Here goes a question for those y'all aren't watching, which you should be. Kevin Kent, shout out to this one. He said, Dynasty, keep trade cut edition, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., or Jamar Terrell Owens Chase. Which one are you keeping? Which one are you trading? Which one are you cutting, Jay?
I am keeping Garrett Wilson. I am trading Jamar Chase, and I am cutting Marvin Harrison Jr. It's not really even that difficult.
All right, there it is. Keep trade cut edition.
The draft is here. Let's go.
Mr. Kent and Mr. Richards. There you go. Jay, did you see Cam Taylor-Britt talking about, I think that he is Cam Taylor-Britt watches the show, and his name is Drew Sorensen Music, because they both hate that Xavier Worthy. They both hate him. Hate him, Jay. Listen to Cam Taylor-Britt / Drew Sorensen Music, frequent viewer of the Wake Up Show. Listen to him talk about Xavier Worthy, Jay. Listen to this.
What does Xavier Worthy bring to this KC offense that you guys need to be prepared for?
Speed. That's about it. He can run straight. Run jet sweeps and just run straight. He can't do too much else, so that's about it. Feel like you put your hands on him. He's only 100-something pounds. So if you put hands on him, you'll stop the speed. So basically get hands on him.
Jay, is this bulletin board material for Xavier Worthy and the Kansas City Chiefs, who are favorites this weekend versus the Cincinnati Bengals, who look like they will be without T. Higgins? Joe Burrow can't pick up a water bottle, but Cam Taylor-Britt says X Worthy ain't nothing but a straight line runner. Put hands on him and he's on the ground. Is this bulletin board material for Worthy and the Chiefs this weekend, Jay?
I think, unfortunately for Cam Taylor-Britt, he is writing checks that he cannot cash, because while I'm down on the Cincinnati Bengals this week, and to be honest, I was down a little bit on the Chiefs offense as a whole, this comment makes me think they may run up the score a little bit, and that's why I'm more concerned. Like, if Andy Reid, who is a very intelligent OC, who's a very intelligent head coach, sees this opportunity for Xavier Worthy to potentially score, I'm sure he will not hesitate to give him that chance to have another big game in front of the Cincinnati crowd, in this game against Cincinnati. But yeah, man, it makes me think maybe we got to move Worthy up the ranks just a tad, because I feel like the Chiefs are petty like that, and they'll give Worthy extra reps and extra snaps.
The Chiefs are the pettiest team in the league, 100%. They will whip out some play that was saved for Week 14 just to and it's Cincinnati. Like, this is I don't want to call them a rivalry.
It was a rivalry.
Is it a rivalry? Are we there at rivalry right now? Whatever it is.
It was a rivalry. It ain't anymore.
But those are two teams that are around in the end in the playoffs. Those two teams, the Bengals and the Chiefs, the past couple of years have been there. Interesting choice for Cam Taylor-Britt. He better cash it.
Stupid as hell, man. Stupid as hell.
That check. All right, Jay. Quickly, just run through this exhausting list of injuries, and are they ins or outs? What do we have?
All right, so this is mostly speculative. Just putting that out there. But Here are the list of injuries. Keenan Allen, DMP yet again. So we're seeing if he's getting a Veterans Day on Thursday. We did expect him to be active for practice, or at least limited. The path to playing is usually limited Thursday, full on Friday. So we didn't get Keenan Allen or Odunze. Higgins not practicing. Myles Garrett also has a foot injury, so that could be a good thing if you like Jacksonville Jaguars. Njoku is out, no surprise there. Jake Ferguson, DMP, but not ruled out. He is questionable. Audric Estime went to IR. Jordan Love is doubtful, but Matt LaFleur did say he's not closing the door on him playing. Marshawn Lloyd, limited practice, so should actually play this week. Same with Josh Downs, who also got a limited practice in yesterday. Puka Nacua is supposed to be out more than 4 weeks. They're expecting him back hopefully after the week 6 bye. Same with Steve Avila, their guard, and Joe Noteboom, who also went on IR. Malik Neighbors got hurt in practice yesterday, suffering a bit of a knee injury, so he was limited. Christian McCaffrey also returned to practice, so he may play this week, and Kenneth Walker was a DMP with his oblique injury as well. So the guys who were DMPs, look for them to potentially practice today, and if not, I would expect them to be doubtful or out come Sunday.
Oh, Jay. Puka, man. I mean, this is shaping up to just be a lost season, Jay. This is out.
He's going the Cooper Kupp route.
Yeah, I mean, hell yeah.
They're trading places.
You're firing them up, but Steve Avila out, Joe Noteboom out. I don't like that for the offensive line. Jordan Love's not going to play. Stop it. McCaffrey's not going to play. Stop it. Kenneth Walker, a little problematic because I got him ranked kind of high in the ranks, so I need Kenneth Walker to be in, Jay. But any other and Jake Ferguson, just sit out, dude. Not versus the Saints. Not versus the Saints. Just chill for a week. Get healthy. Don't go out there and rush it. And Estime on IR. He fumbled the ball on his first carry. They got it back, but his pride was hurt, so he hit the IR. All right, Jay. Got a lot to talk about. Quarterbacks. QB ranks, man. Let's talk about it, Jay. I got your list. You got my list. We're going to start with you first. We're going to pull it up. Talk through the quarterbacks you like. I got some data over here. We could talk through a little data, JRich, and make it happen. You ready to do it, baby?
Let's go. Do you want me to start 12 to 1 or 1 to 12?
I don't give a shit. However you want to do it.
All
Who's
right.
your QB1 on the week, JRich? QB1 for
Jalen
JRich.
Hurts
Who we got?
is number 1 yet again. Love the matchup against Atlanta. Jalen Hurts.
All right,
Jalen
there
Hurts.
you go. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is QB1. Love the matchup against Atlanta. I think he's going to be dynamite. You will see a trend with my QB2, and it is Jaden Daniels. Love Jaden Daniels this week. He has the Giants, and I'm expecting a very high-scoring game. And so you may see another quarterback on this list in that game. But at 3, I have Patrick Mahomes. Again, part of it is Cincinnati and them potentially running up the score on Cincinnati, and I really don't like that D-line for Cincy. They're probably not going to get any pressure. CJ Stroud is at 4. Love CJ Stroud this week. Already talked about it on Wednesday. Think he's going to smash against this Bears defense that I believe is fraudulent, at least against a Texans team that can absolutely run up the score. Ray, how are you doing over there?
My bad. I'm supposed to be dragging him up. I'm writing notes down. Who do you have at 2? Who was 2?
I have Daniels. Jaden Daniels.
Okay, Jaden at 2. Who's at 3?
3 is Patrick Mahomes.
All right, we got Mahomes at 3. All right. Who's 4?
Yeah, so we got
Stroud?
JD. Stroud is at 4, yes. And then
Yeah,
we have Lamar
JD.
Jackson at 5. I wanted to have Lamar higher, but I am leaning Henry a little bit more. Dak Prescott's at 6. I do have some concerns. I want to hear your thoughts on Dak. Kyler is at 7, right? So Kyler, I think, is in a good matchup. He'll probably run a little bit against the Rams. The surprise, I think, for a lot of people, I have Baker at 8. Baker is playing up. Baker is at 8 for me, so he's going back to Detroit.
8. Let's go, Jay.
Where he threw for 300 yards, 3 tutties. I loved week 1, but I did talk about how I'm not so sold on the Bucs offense, but I think it's a good matchup. They did not play well against the pass the first week against the Rams. Obviously, the Rams are great with Matthew Stafford, but I really like Baker's matchup against Detroit. He did throw for 303 against them last game when they played in the playoffs. I think you'll see a similar output from them yet again. So I have Baker pretty high at 8 right now. I have Jared Goff, his counterpart, at 9. Goff did struggle a bit in the game the first week, but he did play well in the playoffs. So I think he'll have another good performance against the Bucs. At 10, I have Anthony Richardson. So this one may surprise some people, me not having JRich a little bit higher. Obviously, we know the rushing floor is there. But for me, Ray, this game is going to be disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Green Bay and Indy, I want no part of it. 0. It's going to be a gross game. Malik Willis on the other side. Stack the box to stop Jonathan Taylor stack the box to stop Malik Willis, and you're fine. So Josh Jacobs is going to struggle. The whole Green Bay offense is going to struggle. And I think on the Indy side, they don't have to do a lot to win this game. And so I think they play pretty conservatively, and JRich doesn't have to do a whole lot. At 11, I have Brock Purdy, and at 12, I have Daniel Jones in what I think can be a massive shootout.
Yes, Daniel Jones.
I know you guys think I'm crazy. So this is really the Giants going into Washington, right? Both these teams are horrible. Like, we know both these teams are horrible. And when you have 2 bad teams, sometimes it can create some fantasy output, right? And the biggest thing here, and this is where, when you talk receivers this week, do not be surprised if Malik Neighbors goes off. Now, there was obviously the injury scare, and that does worry me very slightly. But if he was fully healthy, he should destroy this secondary for Washington. When you talk about dominant receivers, you have to dominate against bad competition. Washington is going to have one of the worst secondaries in the league. And people forget, Daniel Jones still has massive rushing upside. He's one of the highest quarterbacks on the week in terms of scoring a touchdown. He's in the top 6 of all quarterbacks remaining to score a touchdown. He definitely has potential for 200 plus yards, and I think he does have upside for even 2 touchdowns. Malik Neighbors is going to be the key to this offense, and Washington secondary is bad. So again, if you're talking about receivers, it's mostly on Neighbors, but I think that Jones can have a top 12 week this week.
All right, Jay, I got your list pulled up. I had it off, so I want to get your list pulled up the right way. So here you go. Just so we're clear and on the same page here, Jay. This is your list, right? This is your list. You got Hurts, Daniels, Mahomes, Stroud, Lamar, Prescott, followed by Kyler, Baker, Goff, Anthony Richardson, Brock Purdy, and you have Daniel Jones inside your top 12, absent Josh Allen and
Josh
Tua.
Allen, right?
Yeah, absent. Josh Allen.
I had 2 outside the top 12. Allen would have fallen, 4 or 5, I think, when I was looking at it a little bit earlier, because I did make this list before the game just to, have some integrity there. The one guy I'm interested in a little bit, right, is Sam Darnold. I want to see how he plays against the San Fran defense. And people who forget, Brock Purdy really struggled in Minnesota last season. So I am a little bit concerned about how they play that offense, especially if they, again, rely on the run. We may not see a big performance from Purdy if they just run the heck out of the ball like they did last week. And then the other one I want to talk about is Watson as a dark horse playing against Jacksonville. And then I think that T-Law could have he could be okay, but I think the Browns D will get the best of him. But Myles Garrett being out would be massive for T-Law's upside.
All right, Jay, I just want to go through really quickly where you are way ahead of consensus on some of these ranks. And I'm just looking at ECR ratings right now, and Daniel Jones, QB 21. You have him as QB 12. So you're quite bullish on Daniel Jones here. Baker Mayfield, ECR, QB 14. Brock Purdy, QB 12 right there. So just the only one for me that's a little bit kind of interesting is your enthusiasm for Daniel Jones in this one, Jay.
He is, Ray, per the books, he is QB 10. So just keep that in mind. Like, while you don't like him, he does have some hidden upside in this matchup. Like, he actually could be pretty decent. So don't sleep on Danny Dimes, man. Danny Dimes is a bad quarterback, but if Washington can't generate pressure, which they didn't against Tampa Bay,
I get it.
Then he may be just fine. And for me, it is Malik Neighbors is the key here. If Malik Neighbors
right,
goes
Jay,
off,
so
Daniel Jones will be more
mine,
fun.
right? We'll talk through yours.
Yes,
got to
sir.
go through mine, right? Got to go through my top 12. Let's pull it up real quick, Jay. Where are we at? Let's find the scenes here. And then we can go through my top 12. Top 12.
Let's do it.
Where are we at?
Yeah, Burrow not even close to my top 12.
You said who, Burrow?
Yeah,
He's not in mine either,
want no
dude.
part of Burrow, man.
He's not in mine either, Jay. All right, let's go. You and I are in lockstep at the top. I got Jalen Hurts as my QB1. ECR, he's QB2 on the week. I got Lamar Jackson at QB2, not Patrick Mahomes, not Jaden Daniels. I've got Patrick Mahomes as my QB3 on the week. I do got JD5 as QB4, so I'm with you with Jaden Daniels inside of the top 5. Anthony Richardson, a little higher for me. I got JRich this week at QB5 versus Green Bay. JRich in QB6 is CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud going to get it together this week. Air that thing out. 7 through 12, Jay. I got my boy Rain Dakota coming in at number 7. QB8 on the week for me, Brock Purdy. QB9, got Jared Goff, baby. Let's go get it done, Jared Goff. At QB10, Matthew Stafford. Really liking Stafford in this matchup this week versus Arizona. I've got Kyler right behind him at 11. Need Marvin Harrison to run a little bit faster, Jay. And Baker Mayfield, who currently, right now, in the NFL, number 1 in EPA per drop back. Baker Mayfield helping support both Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Loving me some Baker Mayfield, what he did in week 1. Estimated consensus ranking for him is QB 14. So I'm a little ahead of a consensus with Baker this week in Tampa Bay's matchup at Detroit. If you think Goff is going to throw the ball a lot, hey, let's go do it. Rematch of that playoff matchup. Baker Mayfield coming in at QB 12. Absent Josh Allen, absent the Thursday night game as well. Anything you see on this list that you don't quite agree with, JRich?
I mean, I think Purdy's a little high. I still like the upside, obviously, with Purdy, but I do think they're going to lean on the running game, especially in Minnesota where he struggled last season. But I do have to ask you, why are you taking Goff over Baker? Because I think if we're talking about who has the higher upside in terms of passing, it's definitely Baker because Detroit has a running game and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't really. So I'm just curious your thoughts on Goff versus Baker.
At home Goff.
Yeah, Goff is good. Goff is good at home and in domes.
Tampa, yeah, it's in the dome. Home Goff versus road Goff. We know there's a difference between those two. And didn't you said something about, did you say something about Cousins? Don't they play on Monday night? Or they've got the Eagles, right?
They have the Eagles, yeah. Cousins is a no-go for me. Yeah, and the thing is, Ray, not only is Kirk awful right now, but we've seen him really struggle against the Eagles. And the Eagles secondary isn't even good. And I'm still not quite there. I'm still not quite there. I just want
to ask the question about a couple of quarterbacks that we did not mention, Jay. Caleb Williams at Houston. Estimated consensus rankings right now, QB 19. Any enthusiasm to put Caleb inside the top 12?
Ain't no way.
Okay.
No.
Joe Burrow
especially because
Joe Burrow at Kansas City. He's QB 15 on the week right now, rankings-wise.
Can't trust Joe. Again, would you start him if he was your QB1 though, like Superflex? Because you can't, can you bench him in Superflex?
You got no choice.
Yeah.
And let me just ask you this final one. Myles Garrett's injured. You said the foot injury, did not participate. Trevor Lawrence at home versus Cleveland.
I don't hate it. I think Trevor is still a guy that like you want to believe in that has that upside, but we didn't see the passing volume I was hoping for in week 1. Now they were up pretty big, but I expect them to, put up some more yards, put up some more points. They did run the ball effectively, but I think they continue to kind of milk that running game while it's good and not put too much on T-Law's shoulders. I think he can have a good game, but Cleveland's defense is still good. Myles Garrett is a big factor, obviously.
Well, they got diced up by Dallas pretty good, man.
They did, but the thing is that Dak wasn't amazing in that game either, right? Yep. He was good, but he had to be MVP level Dak. Like the throw to Cooks was an unreal play by Dak. So it was like, they kept CD in check, all these things. They don't have the weapons that Dallas has. And then they don't have the quarterback that Dallas has, more importantly. So I think that they will struggle a little bit against Cleveland.
Let me give you the top 10 quarterbacks right now. I love EPA per drop back because it just is a really good stat to just encompass how successful the offense is when the quarterback is dropping back to throw the ball. Baker Mayfield, number 1. Josh Allen, second. Patrick Mahomes, those are your top 3. Followed by Derek Carr, Sam Darnold, Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy, CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, and at number 10, Jalen Hurts. Those are your leaders after week 1 in a game. EPA per drop back from the quarterback position. Jay, we got to go through the running backs. We're going to go through our top 20. You got 20 backs. I got 20 backs, and I think there's going to be a lot more conversation surrounding this position than the quarterback position for sure. I see Rico Stone said he would swap Daniel Jones for T-Law. And Patrick said, I might, look at this. You've got some love in here. Patrick says, I might start Jones over Caleb, Carr, and Bo Nix, JRich.
Yeah, I mean, so Caleb, absolutely. Nix, absolutely. We don't even like the matchup for Nix alone, having to play against Pittsburgh. Carr is interesting, Ray. What do you think of Carr? Because my fear with Carr really is that it could be one of those like 3 or 4 turnover games from Carr, at which point his fantasy value is like shot. But there is the upside of Dallas playing very well and the Saints putting up points. So again, it's a not, I wouldn't say it's a foregone conclusion. I would start him over Carr, especially with how they looked in week 1, but it is the Panthers. So we have to temper our expectation for Derek Carr a little bit.
I was going to ask about Fields real quick, and then we'll go to break and get to the running backs. Patrick said he's starting Justin Fields over Caleb Williams and Kirk Cousins. I was trying to find a way to jam Fields inside the top 12, Jay. I was trying to find a way. I just couldn't see the path. But Justin Fields at Denver, on the road. Denver, it's not the Denver defense of the past, but Fields, do you trust him on the road at Mile High Stadium?
Yeah, no, I do. Okay. Especially in this scenario, I would trust him. We don't like Cousins. I'm definitely not in on Caleb this week. And it's just, you get the rushing floor. The passing ceiling isn't there, but I like the rushing floor. It's worth it.
All right, Jay, let's hit the break, and then y'all run it up, and then we're going to have a lengthy conversation on the running back positions. Run up those likes. If you're watching, I appreciate every eye. I appreciate every ear. Y'all run it up for us, man. Let's go. Let's take this shit to the next level. Hit the thumbs up button, damn it. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, Jay, appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody. Hit that thumbs up button, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm reading the comments as we go through, Jay. And you know, I always find... Kevin, what do you want us to do? Kevin said EPA per drop back, 1 game sample size is wild. I ain't got 10 games. We don't have 5. We got 1 game. All the goddamn stats after week 1 are wild. Trinity, EPA, rushing yard leader, reception leader, target, all of it is wild after week 1. No shit. We react to what we have, man. Like, come on. We know this, right, Jay? Like, what are we talking about? Yes, it's 1 game. We all know it's a 1 game sample size. We know that things are going to change. Enjoy the process. Like, people like that I would never invite to a party. They're just party poopers, vibe killers. The vibes are immaculate. 1 game sample size. No shit. It's 1 game. We're just reacting to what's available to us. I can't fictitiously make more games and more stats and more data.
Ray, getting on the people today. Giving them the business.
On, man. Don't be that guy this morning. It's Friday. Don't be that guy.
Someone's got to be that guy. I guess it's him.
Running backs, Jay. Let's go. Where you at?
All right, so the people aren't going to like my running back rankings, but I'm going to stick to them.
Running back rankings.
I know you don't.
So they don't bother me.
There's one guy that Breece Hall.
Breece Hall.
Number 1. Yeah, big Breece, massive touchdown upside, opportunity share is there, everything is good for Breece Hall, and he's got the Titans, good matchup. Saquon Barkley's at 2, could have easily been my number 1. This is tier 1 for me, just these 2, that's it. You're not going to like that, but it is what it is. Breece, Saquon 1 and 2. I have Kyren at 3, love the usage, like the matchup a lot. I think we're going to see another great performance from Kyren Williams this week. At 4, I'm a little bit bold here, but I am taking Derrick Henry. Part of my Lamar Jackson ranking was banking on the fact that I'm a little bit higher on Henry this week. I think Henry has a great potential to score 2 touchdowns. You look at his last 2 games against Tennessee, he had an average of 90 yards and 1.5 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns in 1 game, 1 touchdown in another. I think Baltimore once again gets him at least 1, if not 2. I think it's a pretty light game from Lamar this week. At 5, Isaiah Pacheco. Again, we talked about the Kansas City Chiefs. Love Pacheco this week. Love what we saw from Ramondre. Think Pacheco can emulate it. The question is, how much do they run after Taylor-Britt decided to run his mouth in a press in the locker room? So that's my concern with Pacheco, but I think he has great touchdown upside this week. At 6, I have Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Gibbs once again has a phenomenal game in a great matchup where there should be plenty of points. So love Jahmyr Gibbs. At number 7, I have Joe Mixon, my man. Joe Mixon scoring, touchdown Joe, we're going to call him. I don't think we see 30 carries in this one. I'm definitely in on CJ Stroud, but Joe Mixon is going to be my guy. I like Alvin Kamara this week. He had a decent week last week in what was an absolute blowout.
Dallas. Dallas.
Ray, you make it seem like Dallas is formidable from the linebacker position. How about those linebackers for Dallas? Are they covering Alvin Kamara?
The defensive performance was pretty good, but go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm listening.
Secondary's good, but Derek Carr, there's one thing he loves to do. It's dump it down to old Alvin Kamara. So he may not score. He's got good touchdown odds, but I think Kamara is going to be great. I also have Jonathan Taylor at 9. For me, this is really predicated on the game script. Yes, I know, D-Bro. We got there. JT is there. So the reason why I have JT a little bit lower, slightly lower touchdown potential, in my opinion, like JRich, but again, I think it's going to be a gross game, a lot of running with JT, a little bit of passing, and just not a whole lot of points overall. So I do have JT there. And then finally, Ray, at 10, I have Bijan Robinson. I have a lot of concerns about this team. People aren't going to like it, but you have to really consider here how bad this Atlanta offense is. Did Bijan Robinson get it done for fantasy? Sort of. Did he? Not really. So I think the bigger concern is, one, Kirk Cousins has historically stunk against the Eagles. He's not going to play much better right now, given his health, and especially if they're just going to sit back and pistol the whole game. And especially when you talk about the Eagles' running defense, they do have a great run defense. They will continue to use that front four to dominate up front. And I think that Bijan could struggle a little bit. And especially when you compare him to the other top running backs, he has the lowest odds to score a touchdown of a lot of players. He's not even in the top 10 right now in terms of all running backs in the field. I have him at 10. He'll catch some passes. He'll run fairly effectively, but I do believe he's going to struggle in this game. At 11, Ray, I have James.
We'll stop you there, Jay. That's your top 10. I'll go through mine.
That's my top 10.
So your top 10,
Okay.
let's recap your great job. Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley, Kyren Williams, Derrick Henry, Isaiah Pacheco, Jahmyr Gibbs, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, followed by Bijan Robinson. All right, Jay, that's your top 10. Let me give you mine. Let me give you my top 10. At number 1, let's just get this out of the way very quickly. Where are you at? Bijan Robinson, numero uno for me. RB1 on the week. I was not encouraged by Kirk Cousins' ability to move. I saw a practice clip yesterday. Kirk Cousins still cannot move. They want to run pistol. I am very concerned. It is time to go. Algier may be the spellback. He may be a valuable backup. He may be the most valuable handcuff. But that's exactly what he is. He is the handcuff backup running back to Bijan Robinson. I'm starting Bijan Robinson. RB1 on the week. Fire him up. Let's go. At RB2, Jay, I've got Saquon Barkley versus that Atlanta defense. So if you got Bijan and you got Saquon, this should be a matchup.
How do you have Saquon over Bijan? How do you have Bijan over Saquon?
I just can I get through my list? How the hell do you have Alvin Kamara inside the top 5? I'll let you get through your 10. Let's go. Saquon Barkley at RB2. I've got Breece Hall coming in at RB3. Those are my top 3 running backs: Bijan, Saquon, Breece Hall. I do love me some Isaiah Pacheco, just like you, Jay. So he is slotting in at that RB4 spot. Now, there was some news in the chat. Myles Garrett did not practice again today, Jay. So this could be a boost or an increase for Travis Etienne potentially. I don't know if you want to shuffle some stuff around while I'm going, but no Myles Garrett in practice. Once again, Isaiah Pacheco coming in as my RB4 on the week. RB5, not Blake Corum, Kyren Williams, RB5. Matchup versus Arizona. You talked about this a lot. Offensive line is a problem. Cooper Kupp is there. I don't think it's going to be the Tyler Johnson or the Demarcus Robinson show. You got Kyren, you got Cooper, you got Colby. You better get the balls to your playmakers. Kyren Williams coming in at RB5 for me. At RB6, I'm a little more bullish on Jonathan Taylor than you are. At RB7, get Derrick Henry the ball, please. My goodness, John Harbaugh, let's make it happen, please. Joe Mixon coming in at RB7. Where you at, Mixon? Where you at? Joe Mixon is at 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Joe Mixon there, followed by Jahmyr Gibbs. My dogs just busted into the room during the show, very loud. Where is he at? Jahmyr Gibbs coming in at the, what's that, RB8 or 9, Jay?
9.
It's got to be 9. RB9. And then RB10, I've got Josh Jacobs, who you did not talk about. So there goes my top 10. Bijan, Saquon, Breece, Isaiah Pacheco, Kyren Williams, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Josh Jacobs. Again, you got Malik Willis at running back. No Jordan Love. It's probably going to be a lot of Josh Jacobs / Jaden Reed time. Jay, talk about it. No Alvin Kamara in mind.
Yeah. Okay, we can talk about Josh Jacobs maybe at the end, but yeah, so what is your thought process with Jacobs? Because for me, again, I like Jacobs, but I hate Malik Willis. So how do you balance that in the ranks?
How do you balance it?
You're gonna find out when I rank him because he's not in my top 15.
Let's just go. You give me your 11 through 20.
Okay, so we got James Conner, bell cow Conner, has to be close to the top 12, if not in the top 12 every week. Usage is phenomenal. I have Ramondre at 12, which is a little bit bold, but I do really like how he looked in week 1. The usage will be very high. I still like the matchup against Seattle. I think it's going to be a good one. Ramondre should see plenty of work. I have Zeke at 13, Ray. I talked about how I have Zeke at 13. People aren't going to like it, but Zeke is going to be good this week. I have him scoring a touchdown. I think he'll be more than fine. And again, when you talk about running backs, especially a plotter like Zeke. He has to score. This is a week where I believe he is going to score. First home game back for the boys. They will get Zeke into the end zone. At 14, I have David Montgomery. I could have had D-Mont a little higher. I openly admit that. I think it'll be a high-scoring game, but I do project a little bit more going to Jahmyr Gibbs. I like D-Mont at 14. I have Travis Etienne at 15. He could move up a little bit, and potentially you could move him up there. At 16, I have Austin Eckler. Part of it is my Jaden Daniels love. I think Jaden Daniels is going to dump it off to Austin Eckler, dump it off to B-Rob, and openly really have a good game this week.
Jay,
I have Rashad.
Who was after Zeke? My bad, man. My bad. Etienne?
Zeke's at David Montgomery.
All right, Monty. My bad, man. My bad. Yeah, D-Mont after Zeke, and then it was Etienne?
It was Etienne after that, yeah.
All right, sorry.
Then we have Austin Eckler, who I think will catch a lot of passes in this game against the Giants. We have Rachaad White just after that. Again, another player who will probably catch a lot of passes because the running game ain't so good there. At number 18, I have Brian Robinson, who again won't be catching his B-Rob. I like B-Rob as an RB2 this week. At 19, I have Josh Jacobs, and at 20, I have J.K. Dobbins.
Jacobs at 19 and J.K. Dobbins at 20. Okay,
I really don't think
low on Jacobs.
Because I just don't trust Malik Willis. Like, we saw him play two snaps.
If you don't trust Malik, that should favor the guy who can be trusted by getting the ball to Josh Jacobs. How do you have him so low?
And I agree with that. But, Ray, you are a cornerback by trade. If you were a defensive coordinator, how would you play against the Packers? How many guys would you have in the box? Would you have 9 in the box? Would you have 10 in the box?
No. 7 or 8. 7 or 8.
7.
But here's the thing.
You stack the box against them.
Yeah,
it's easy.
Yes. I would stack the box.
You force Malik Willis to beat you. And guess what, people? It's not happening. We've seen it. So the only guy who's not ranked right now is the San Francisco running back. I would probably have Mason at, like I was looking at it before, I'd probably have Mason right around Ramondre, like right around 12 or so. I don't think I would rank him as an RB1, but I'd put him pretty damn close. And then CMC would go basically right to the top. If he's active and starting, he'd be right at the top. I didn't bother to rank them.
And I'm asking because we're on the show. We don't know what's happened over the last hour, but is CMC trending to playing? Is he practicing? Is he?
So while you think he may not play, right? He did actually practice.
I'm asking. I don't know.
Yeah, so he did practice even yesterday. So that's why, I was kind of surprised to see him practicing. For a dude who has this calf/Achilles injury, why is he getting a limited practice? And maybe it's just the way it's being reported is kind of misleading. But for me, why is he practicing at all if he potentially could miss this game? It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I still like the Minnesota defense. I think they are good. But he was reported yesterday getting a limited practice in. So what does that mean? We'll find out. But I don't think he's going to play. And which point is Jordan Mason's season?
Assume that you do not have Kenneth Walker in because you don't expect him to play, right? Is that why?
No, I don't. I don't expect him to play either. That'll be injury. And if he does play, I don't want him against the Pats.
You said even if he does play, you don't want him against the Pats?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have dissension right off the rip because I do have him. I am still. It's almost like last night. He's going to be limited duty. If he's on the field, he's going to play. If they're going to play it, if he's on the field, he's going to play. If you faded that Achane, you're probably not feeling great today. So Kenneth Walker, I have Kenneth Walker at 11. I am also in on Bell Cow Connor. Where's that Bell Cow? Bell Cow Connor. Let's fire him up as RB12 on the week for me. Love me, as you said. Mondre, where you at? Ramondre Stevenson, 13. Whenever I can find him, I got Mondre at 13. Where's Mondre at? Where's he at?
Besides Singletary and Ray Davis on the right.
There he is. Ramondre Stevenson. There we go. So we've got 11, 12, and 13. Ramondre Stevenson, Jay, at 14. At 14. I'm making a little pivot here. We're going to put David Montgomery at 14 in my 15 spot. I can't believe we're doing this. I cannot believe we've gotten to a point where he's back as a top 15 running back in fantasy football. But I'm rocking with J.K. Dobbins, man. I'm rolling with J.K. Dobbins as RB15 on the week. Really liked what he did week 1 with the Chargers. They're probably not going to throw the ball a ton. J.K. Dobbins right there. Travis Etienne coming in next up for me, RB16. Mr. Etienne and Tank Bigsby, whatever the hell they have going on in that backfield. got Travis Etienne there. I am still going to place Jordan Mason in this spot right here. I'm still going to put Jordan Mason in. He's not on the list, so we're going to put CMC in the spot for Jordan Mason because they're one and the same. They're just one is black and one is white. Same guy, Jordan Mason.
Same guy,
just as good as Christian McCaffrey. I'm just joking for those people who will take that literally. I've got Rachaad White coming in at RB 18, JRich. At RB 19, I've got Brian Robinson and RB 20, JRich RB 20. I do not have Alvin Kamara. I do not have Najee Harris. There's no Austin Eckler nor Ezekiel Elliott at RB 20. Give me some Tony Pollard this week. Give me some Tony Pollard, who proved that he is the lead dog right
Bell
now.
cow Pollard.
He is the Tony Pollard, bell cow running back for the Tennessee Titans. It is not Tyjae Spears. No Najee in the ranks. No Aaron Jones this weekend in the top 20. They're right outside of that. Alvin Kamara right outside as well. And then you got the rest of the cast of characters. I'm going to leave the Cincinnati Bengals running backs alone this week. Not going to fool around with Jalen Warren. And I want to put Zamir White in there, but I'm not going to F around with Zamir White or your boy Ezekiel Elliott, Jay. So talk about this list. And yes, we've got Christian McCaffrey as the replacement for RB1 Jordan Mason.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's disheartening you don't have Zeke in there. He's your boy. He's coming back to Dallas first game. I think he's going to have a good game against the Saints. But I did want to ask you about Pollard, right? Do you think you see another, pretty majority snap share, rush share, target share from Tony Pollard in this week?
Well, Patrick said the Titans said they want a more even split. I hear them until we see it. What they told me week one is it's the Tony Pollard show. And there's another comment in here, no Kamara. Yeah, Kamara's inside the top 24. He's right there, 23-24. But the Dallas defense, the Marvin Overshown, the defensive line, Mike Zimmer, and the confidence. That defense played a hell of a lot better than we thought. They've got very good secondary defenders. They've got a sleeper at cornerback. I'm just going to say he looks like he's very good. But Kamara, I mean, he's the volume guy. I'm still going to, if I have Alvin Kamara, I'm playing him, Jay. If I've got some of these other guys, I would feel comfortable putting an ETN versus the non-Myles Garrett-led Cleveland Browns opposed to Alvin Kamara versus Dallas. Going through the comments, Christian Mason. Yeah, D-Bro's in the chat. It's Christian Mason. They're one and the same. And Dobbins. People are saying, oh, yeah, Dobbins, wheels up, J.K. Dobbins. Can't believe we are back here. But Jim Harbaugh told us he wants to run the ball. He trusts J.K. Dobbins, and Dobbins looked as healthy and as spry as one can be coming off of the multiple devastating injuries he suffered. So those are our top 12 quarterbacks. Let me go through my running backs really quickly for the audio, folks. RB1, I've got Bijan, followed by Saquon, Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, and Kyron Williams, my top 5. JT, King Henry, Joe Mixon, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Josh Jacobs rounding out the top 10, followed by Ken Walker. Pay attention to the injury reports with Ken Walker. James Conner, Ramondre Stevenson, David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, Travis Etienne, Jordan McCaffrey, Rachaad White, and Brian Robinson, and Tony Pollard rounding out the top 20. JRich had Breece, Saquon, Kyron, Henry, and Pacheco as his top 5 backs, followed by Jahmyr Gibbs, Joe Mixon, AK-41, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, and Bijan Robinson coming in the back of that. James Conner, Ramondre Stevenson, Ezekiel Elliott, David Montgomery, Travis Etienne, Austin Eckler, Rachaad White, Brian Robinson, Josh Jacobs, and J.K. Dobbins coming in at RB20. JRich, we are definitely going to save these and review them, talk about them as we get into next week. Anything you want to leave the people with, man? It's been an interesting week, Jay. It's been a very interesting week 1 of the NFL season. I don't know if it was good nor bad. I mean, the performances weren't great. How are we feeling the beginning of this? I'll tell you what it feels like to me. It feels like these big name stars that we wanted to perform, these injuries, it feels dirty right now to start. That's just kind of when we're on a show, dude, and we're talking about Eckler and Zeke Elliott and Kamara and Connor and J.K. Dobbins. It feels like we kind of hopped in a time machine and went back a little bit. I don't know. It's a weird start to the season where James Cook looks like he's a top 3 running back in the NFL right now. I don't know, Jay. I'm intrigued by everything that we're seeing happening this early part of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of did hop into a time machine, right? When you really think about it, you go and look historically, passing yards way down, in turn, receiving yards way down, rushing production way up. That's like, you got to go back probably almost a decade to see this type of swing in production to where we're at in terms of rushing yards compared to passing yards. This is what's going on. And when you have especially in Dynasty, we have all these old running backs. No one wants them. Hammer wide receiver, hammer wide receiver, hammer wide receiver, trade for wide receivers, fade those running backs. I mean, to be fair, the fade running back crew is still doing all right based off some of the performance you've seen so far, but all these running backs are performing at a higher level than receivers, kind of like we've seen in many years past. You got to go back pre-pandemic to see stuff like that. But all these guys are probably going to be more than fine. They're going to score touchdowns. They're going to get lots of volume. I think it's going to be fine. I've been very enthused by what we've seen thus far, and I'm excited for week 2. We can't overreact. We can't go crazy, but we are learning a lot. And I think this week, based on how teams adjust, will tell us a lot about week 1 and week 2.
Yeah, Chris Howard. Shout out to Chris Howard, man. Chris Howard said week 1 is always weird, right? Week 1 is always weird. Yeah, another one. Vasi 003 Thrable says, I probably butchered that name. Yeah, week 1 is weird. No preseason, plus all the season, all off-season, the game plan makes for some weird games. Yeah, no one play. We all get it, right? We know no one play. It just feels weird. It just feels weird when you lose. You start off not having the 101 in Christian McCaffrey, even the Jamar Chase saga to the Justin Jefferson having to deal with Sam Darnold, no JJ. Just a weird start to the season. And I think one of the things that we're going to react every week. We're going to have takes and we're going to have thoughts and we're going to have opinions and we're going to have theories, even following week 2. But we all know that you need about a month, right? 3-4 games to really see if you can identify a pattern or a trend. Now, we'll watch on Sunday and there will be some it's like porn. You know it when you see it, some bad situations. Like Daniel Jones thinks it up again, man. We don't need 2-3 more weeks to figure out this offense is probably going to be pretty inefficient. Baker Mayfield goes out there and is lasering up Mike Evans and Chris Godwin again. We'll probably feel comfortable saying, you know what? Maybe I'll buy into some more of this Baker Mayfield moving forward. But we react to it. We try not to make big wholesale sweeping decisions this early in the season, but it is information. We don't want to ignore it, but we also want to use it the right way. So let's just enjoy it. Like, that's why I said after week 1, Jay, I'm just enjoying the games. We're going to talk about it. We're going to look at EPA. We're going to look at Trinity. We're going to look at snap share. But for the first 2 to 3 weeks, just watch the games. Get a vibe and a feel for how the teams are playing, how shit's operating. I'm watching last night. I'm watching Buffalo, Jay. We didn't even really do a big takeaway there.
They didn't have to do much.
I don't know what to say. They didn't have to throw the ball. How many yards did Josh Allen have last night passing?
139. I believe he was 13 for 18 for 139 on the touchdown. Nothing.
How do you even evaluate a receiver room? I think Khalil Shakir led the team in receiving.
5 receptions, 54 yards. Next was Ty Johnson with 33. Kincaid 4 for 33 on 4 targets.
It's just
they didn't have to throw the ball. What actionable advice can you even take away from that besides if
just
Buffalo
double it
because they only played a half, right?
If they don't have to throw, they won't throw it. And quickly, let's put a bow on this because we did not talk about it at all. Outlook for Tyreek and Waddle, Jay. Moving forward, let's just go under the assumption that Tua, let's just say he's out. He's done for the rest of the season, Jay. We don't know that. Knock on wood. We hope he gets back on the field. But he's out. Rest of season. What happens with Tyreek? What happens with Waddle? What happens with the running back room? Let's wrap with this.
I mean, I think the running back room is the biggest question. Tyreek still top 12. Waddle would be, probably back end wide receiver 2 at best, it feels like. Just less manufactured touches for him than Tyreek. You got to still trust Tyreek to finish top 12, but it's going to be a struggle.
I don't even trust that. I don't trust that, You wouldn't even
put him in the top 12?
Skylar Thompson's not good. It has nothing to do with Tyreek.
But he's got experience, though. He's got experience. They've played together. They can build off what we've seen. Because, as you said, Tua's missed some games, so there has been, some building of rapport, practice, etc. And if Skylar's starting for multiple weeks, we should hopefully see that build. And I think when you look at the offense as a whole, right, the only time they really ever moved the ball is on these manufactured plays, the pitch reverses, the touch passes. Like that was when they were really moving the ball. And I think Skylar Thompson can kind of emulate the same things, but overall it's going to be a struggle bus. The question, Ray, is can Bell Cow Achane do this all year? 27 touches.
No,
or 29
that's why
touches.
I said, Jay,
Sorry. In this
that's
game.
why I'm asking, not just, I said Tyreek, Waddle in the running game. Because he can't, I do not believe that would be wise for Miami to do that week in and week out. I don't think he'll last. I would move Tyreek outside the top 12 with Skylar Thompson.
Okay.
Not far, and it's not because of Tyreek, but it's Skylar Thompson, man. And the offense just, it changes. It does a complete 180 with him at the helm. I think it nukes Waddle. It does
nuke Waddle.
And everybody talks about Tannehill and like the dude's got $200 million in the bank account, and you think he's anxiously looking forward to going to practice behind a poor offensive line? I don't think so, man. Maybe, but this looks like this is the Buffalo Bills' AFC East once again. No Tua, the whole game plan is ruined. Miami's defense is awful. I don't know if it's Christian Wilkins.
Awful.
Why is Jalen Ramsey even there? The defense is not good, Jay. What is Tannehill excited about to go to Miami, to go get his shit kicked in for 10 weeks when he's chilling?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
my only retort to Achane is, while I'm with you 100%, it's why I was kind of fading him and I wasn't all the way in. He can't possibly have 30 touches a game and make it 8 weeks. But I think when he is available, clearly he is going to get the ball a lot. So if he's healthy and available, I think we could see a heavy dose of Achane in this offense, especially with Skylar Thompson. So to say that he can't do it absolutely in terms of his health, he's probably going to get hurt. But when he's available, I'm not so concerned about Achane. It seems like he's going to be the guy. He led the team in targets. He led the team in receptions and receiving yards. So I'm not concerned about Achane going forward. I'm really not. I think he'll be more than fine.
I mean, if he's there, great. But to give him 25 plus touches, it's not happening, dude. Like,
yeah. I mean, he's not going to hold up. That's, again, the way that we feel. But for fantasy, if he's in the lineup, he's seeing the ball a lot. So no concerns about him. No concerns about him. I think he'll be great.
Let's wrap on this. I'm just asking the question, Jay. Tua's out for the season. Let's just say that he's out for the season. Tyreek Hill is 30 years old. There will be people who say his talent, his target volume, his opportunity, he'll be able to just volume his way to relevancy. Would you be trying to move him actively in Dynasty right now? Actively, whatever you can get, 25 first, and just be like the situation.
For Tyreek.
Because if Tua's out for the season, if they put him on IR or whatever it is, right? This is all theoretical, hypothetical bullshit. They put him on IR, you will spend the entire summer and offseason wondering, are they going to take another quarterback? In the drafts, entire spring, are they going to take another quarterback? Are they going to commit to Tua? And then what the Dolphins do, they get to the draft and they don't take one to round 2. So it's like, well, they didn't spend a first rounder. This could be a situation where Miami is looking for another quarterback. It could be a situation where they're looking for another quarterback. What do you do with Tyreek, man? What do you do with Tyreek? What do you do with Jalen?
So I'm holding Tyreek. I'm absolutely holding him. And part of it is, while I don't think Skylar Thompson's a great quarterback, they picked him. And I think if they held on to Mike White instead of Skylar Thompson, we'd have no problem with Tyreek, because we've seen Mike White deliver the ball to his receivers time and time again. I'm not as concerned about Tyreek because of the manufactured touches and what he can do even with a bad quarterback, right? Like, of all the receivers in the NFL, I think can thrive with a bad quarterback, Tyreek is probably still number one of anyone in the NFL. So that's why I'm not going to sell him. I'm not going to do anything, because any upgrade at quarterback you see is only going to benefit Tyreek. And I'm not so concerned about Mike McDaniel scheming him up.
they said y'all. This comment right here. Shout out to Man Twizzle said y'all asses is wrong about LeBron Achane. He is going to hold up and withstand the season. All right, man. There it is. Hit the music, Jay. Hit the music. Monster show. Freaky Feel Good Friday over here on the channel. Went through our top 12 quarterbacks. Jay's top 12 quarterbacks, top 20 running backs, my top 20 running backs, receivers and tight end. Video will be up tonight. JRich, man, good week, good stuff. We got the trade show dropping tomorrow. 2025 rookie content also dropping on the channel today. Got a lot of work to do. Old GQ's got some work to do after the show, Jay. But anything you want to say to people as we get out of here? Start sit show, Dynasty Theory on Sunday. Tap in.
Yeah, lots of good content on the channel throughout the rest of the weekend, so make sure you tap into all of that. Hit the like button and subscribe for all the future content.
We're giving away hats.
We're giving away hats,
the Start
apparently.
Sit show. Yeah, I need 200 likes on the show on Sunday. 200 likes. And Start Sit. I'm giving away a hat. Jimbo and then Ray,
remember, have you given away the New England hat yet?
No, I have not. We
have to give away the New England hat on Monday. So make sure that you have your comments in on, what was that, Monday's video. New England Forever if you want a shot at that hat. And we'll give away another hat on Monday. But make sure you tap into us on Monday morning. What do you see, Ray?
Fade JRich Friday is what it is.
I'm with it. I'm with it, Jimbo.
Book it with
I'm here for all this smoke.
JRich are the fade gods around here, man. You got to embrace it, Jay.
Jimbo's got his hat. He's feeling brazy on a Friday. I like it, Jimbo.
Man,
I like it.
I sent D-Bro a package. I didn't even get a appreciate it. Didn't even get a I got it. Just nothing. And it said deliver. It said deliver. Love y'all. Y'all have a great weekend. We appreciate the love, appreciate the support. We out of this thing. Enjoy week 2. See y'all bright and early on Monday. Peace.